What's
I'm gonna
going
hit
on?
I'm hitting
Uh,
record and we're a little bit late, but we got class and session starting. We got Nathaniel Hampton in Chicago on the streets.
yes, sir. Shot
Let me
Town.
know what's happening. So tell me
Yes.
what's happening. What you been into? You
What's
said
happening?
this the Diddy deal.
Well, I really want to go get into that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no,
What was
no,
your
no.
topic?
Let me explain. Let me explain. Let me
Okay.
explain. I wasn't gonna get into that. I wasn't gonna talk about that really too much because um hold on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing has started yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't wanna say anything that might be false, or I just be assuming, or the case that is. But as it started, the case started, I just see a lot of things that's going on in this case. Because for one, I find this case interesting because I have a daughter,
Okay.
and like now, what's so ironic, I'm at the point, my daughter's 12, and I'm at the point of teaching my daughter about choices she makes. And as I go with her and I think about this case, a lot of that, what's going on, has to do with people making bad choices or making a choice thinking that it's going to elevate them, in which the other person don't have that same thing in mind. So, like I say, I was trying to keep from talking about that case, and I know you know a lot about law. And like I say, watching this case, I'm learning about the RICO law, and I'm learning about the sex trafficking laws. Now, I kind of can remember that the state of New York had John Gotti in court under the RICO law. So it's it's this what's going on. I think is going to be bigger than the OJ trial. I think this case here is going to be bigger than the OJ trial. And why I say that is because a lot of people is going to be affected by this trial. Because so far out of 3 days, they had two major people testifying. One was one of the sex workers, and the other one was Cassie Ventura. Now, as everybody knows, Cassie Ventura was the main subject of this Diddy case because of that tape that came out. But as I listened to the case, it's just a small portion of what they charging Diddy for. And I don't want people to think that, well, Diddy did it, or good for him, or I'm not going on that avenue because during this trial, a lot of people's going to fall. And I go back on the choices they made. Because, like I explained to my daughter, choices you make, some of them might not affect you now, but later on in life, they can affect you some way. So you have to be careful in the choices you make. And I think a lot of people, um, I would say, is realizing that or probably kicking themselves in the butt because probably back then at them time, they probably calling themselves probably just having fun hanging with the big wigs. But not knowing that stuff's gonna come back and haunt them. Do I got some in my eye? So
When you say people, a lot of people are going to fall, like who? Who do you think is going to fall?
most of the people that was involved. Now you have some people, to my understanding, you have some celebrities who wasn't necessarily participating in a criminal act, but was just there, or they witnessed what happened. And you got some that contribute. But the funny thing about it, most of the ones who were co-conspirators, they turn in state evidence. They testifying against them. So basically, um, he's the only one necessarily going down. Because I heard a lot of people say under the RICO Act that you just can't charge one person in the RICO Act. But as I looked up, you can charge an individual or a company
Yeah,
or establishment or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
In a
The RICO Act is the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act.
Mhm.
So, in and of itself, it's organization oriented.
Mhm.
Um, it's a 1970 U.S. law that aims to combat organized crime and racketeering. It offers a new legal tool for evidence gathering, penalties, and remedies. And it targets racketeering, organized criminal activity, including white collar crime, corporate crimes, unfair trade practices, and labor union corruption. It imposes 20-year prison sentences and allows asset freezing before trial. It enables prosecution to seemingly connect unrelated crimes to make them all align with one common goal, and they can be applied to legitimate business, not just organized crime. So here's the problem. You brought up Cassie.
Mhm.
You remember how old that video was?
2016.
Right. That was almost 10 years ago.
Correct.
So that meant I'm supposed to believe that somebody just started caring after 10 years. Why would they hold that video for 10 years? Think about it. Why would you have a video for a decade? If you cared about what happened to the lady, you would have sent the video. If you didn't, why would you keep it?
Well, the way they explained it, they explained it, he's supposed to have been so powerful, which they explained that he was. They did a lot of he did a lot of threatening, saying, "Well, if you say anything to the police or anybody else, I will show this tape to different people to ruin your career." So he used a lot of things.
We're talking about a hotel. We're talking about a
Right,
hotel.
right. I'm just saying,
Right.
but what they using they're not necessarily charging him for that necessarily crime.
I'm not even
But
talking about that. I'm making
you
a
talking about
much
the hotel.
larger.
You talking about the
Right.
hotel.
I'm talking about a much larger
Right,
social
right,
picture
right. Let me
that
show you what. Let
someone,
me.
what
Mm-hmm,
I'm saying, someone
mm-hmm,
took the time
mm-hmm.
to get and hold evidence
Right.
in case this needed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Notice this comes off of a lawsuit with Ciroc.
Right.
You're not hearing nothing about any of those power people
Mm-mm.
that, because if he had true power, he wouldn't have his
Mm-hmm.
assets frozen, be in prison right now.
Yeah.
It was the people he was aligned with that had power, and now they're showing him.
True. I
This
agree with
is
that.
this is what happened with who's the Supreme Court justice, the black guy, Clarence
Clarence
Thomas.
Thomas.
Remember how when he got elevated to the seat, and then they did the whole Anita Hill thing. They let
Right.
him know who actually had the power.
Mm-hmm.
O.J. Simpson, Tiger Woods. This is just the same thing.
Right. But see, I'm not denying that's part of the reason why this is going on. Because in my opinion, I believe the upper echelons knew what he was doing anyway.
Everybody did.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't think, I just like what you said. When he got out of line,
Yeah.
they say, "Oh, we know what you're doing. We're gonna
But this,
put this on you."
well,
So I agree with that. I
number
agree
one,
with that.
they probably showed him how to do it, which is why they have the recordings, which is what he was doing to other people. But
Exactly.
here's the thing. Why are
Hmm.
black folks acting shocked? Why are black folks tuning in and everybody talking about this and everybody so sewn in? Because just like R. Kelly, everybody knew R. Kelly was a child molester for 20 years. He had a very public case
I
in
knew before then.
Chicago.
I knew before then.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then what was that, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, when they put Surviving R. Kelly on Channel 7,
Yeah, about 2018, somewhere around there.
yeah,
What's
everybody's up in arms. And I'm like, everybody knew this about him.
He used to always go to Kenwood.
Yeah, and I remember when in '99 when I moved to Massachusetts, everybody in New York was telling me about Diddy. So everybody has known this.
Hmm.
So I'm not saying he has not made a whole lot of bad decisions. I'm not saying he's not guilty for whatever they is saying that he did.
Hmm.
I'm saying, why are we so gullible as an American public to overlook obvious things like this is not new knowledge, and why is this being orchestrated now? Diddy has been doing this for 30 years, at least. Now?
I don't think us as black people like to see ourselves like that, or especially a celebrity.
What
Because
do
a
you mean,
lot
see
of
ourselves
people,
like what? See ourselves like what?
black celebrities doing wrong. We don't we'll go, well, they trapping them, or a lot of us have that thought. If they say the black person doing something wrong, then it's either somebody lying on them, the white established lying on them. We
But
don't really know the truth.
that's not the case. So let's say exactly with R. Kelly. We lived in
Hmm.
Chicago.
Yeah, we knew.
We all knew. He had a
Right.
very public case. Everybody knew. The stuff about
Right.
Diddy. That's how that lady that had the talk show that got kicked off of the radio for saying all the stuff about
Oh,
Diddy's
Wendy
parties.
Williams. Wendy Williams.
Wendy Williams was saying that, what, 25 years ago?
Hmm.
So
But
I'm
you know
saying,
what? You know what is just like R. Kelly, like you mentioned R. Kelly.
mhm.
See, we knew about R. Kelly. Why? Because we lived in Chicago. See,
But his
somebody who's in
trial,
California who really don't know R. Kelly or
he
live
had a
in Texas,
trial.
I'm talking about before then. I'm talking about before then, before the
Yes,
trial.
but what I'm telling
A
you is
lot
the
of people
trial
didn't
was
know
30
about that
years
about R.
ago.
Kelly.
Yes,
Huh?
but what I'm saying is in
Mm-hmm.
2018, everybody's
Mm-hmm.
acting shocked and shaken when for
Yeah.
the past 30 years they knew about that. He had a very public trial. Okay, we knew because we were in the hood.
Yeah.
But when he had that trial and everybody found out he was married to Aaliyah and then this
Mm-hmm.
and that other girl and all of this,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
the America was put on notice and
But
everybody was jamming to,
a lot of people don't want to look at their stars like that.
but everybody was bumping Remix to Ignition well after that.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
let's
Right.
stop playing.
Right.
And what I'm
Right.
saying is all of these, everything that they're talking about now,
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Williams is a perfect
Been
example.
talking about it. Yeah.
She talked about it in public on the biggest radio show in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And now, come on.
And you know who else was talking about it?
So
His ex bodyguard Gene Deal and Tupac. They've been talking about it.
Gene Deal been talking about that since Biggie got killed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
So
saying.
this is what and this is what I'm saying. This is where I get upset with the American public and black people in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we get these enhanced senses of morality when basically we're told to? When the
Hmm.
government says, okay, we gonna get you, now all of a sudden, Diddy's name is a verb. Don't get Diddy. And it's like, okay, you knew this. Why are you acting? It's you know what? It's no different than what they did with Bill Cosby. Now, I think Bill Cosby's situation was different.
Different. Yeah, I do too.
I'm not even gonna go into it, but everybody was told, black folks was told, love Bill Cosby. The public was
Mm-hmm.
told, love Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
That's America's father. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody loved Bill Cosby. When he was
Mm-hmm.
ready to buy CBS,
Right.
was it CBS or NBC? I think it was NBC.
NBC.
Suddenly,
Hmm.
they're bringing up rape charges from 40 years ago. Now, here's the thing.
Right.
American people were really supposed to believe, but black people in particular, we were supposed to believe that after 40 years, at the same time, 20 women decided they had to speak all by themselves. That wasn't coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, the situations are different, but you're going to tell me Diddy has been doing this for 30 years.
No.
Now the FBI got a problem with it. People have gotten killed around Diddy.
Oh yeah.
People have gone to prison around Diddy.
Oh yeah.
Nothing ever happened. But
He
when
had
he
people in his pockets. He had people in his pockets. He had
yes,
people. He had law enforcement in his
but
pocket.
okay, but I'm saying to the extent to which he has power, he got more power than he ever had as far as his power goes. So
Mm-hmm.
the only way that this could have changed would be if someone with more power is orchestrating it.
Right.
Why
But
is
then
it?
is it? But Donnell, you know just as much as I do. Some of us can be naive sometimes. We we'll see a celebrity and we'll overlook a lot of things because they're celebrities.
Then keep that energy.
A lot of it,
Stand,
a lot of us, just because they're celebrities, they will
okay,
overlook some of the things
then
that they
keep
do.
that energy. Don't flip flop. Keep that. Say, you know what? Um, I never thought Michael Jackson did that. I'm rolling with Mike. I don't believe it. Not, oh, did he do this? Did he do that? Oh, he did. Oh, he's terrible. Oh, he's terrible.
Nah, yeah,
Now, and check it out. That they did
right,
with Bill Cosby.
yeah,
They sent Bill Cosby to jail on the premise of law, not because he was guilty of what he did to those women. They
right.
sent him on a premise of law that they shouldn't have, which made them have to let him out.
But it was all civil, wasn't it? The Bill
No,
Cosby
no,
thing,
no,
it
no.
wasn't all civil,
That's no, civil is money. He went to prison,
right?
but he went to prison long enough where he couldn't buy that television station. And then when they
Okay,
let him out,
I,
nobody
mhm.
said nothing. They
I
never
got a
said
question. I got a question for you then.
what.
What is for a case that they tried him for? What is the statute of limitation? How many years for that crime, sexual assault?
Um,
I know murder don't have a statute of limitation or attempted murder.
um, it is generally, depending on where it is, 10
Hmm.
years from the day the offense took place. But they are having they have had different changes in law that cases can be brought. The law is real strange, but they got loopholes as to where it can be brought. If it was a boss, if it was whatever, it was whatever. And the thing is, not to get caught in the weeds, how
Hmm.
easily the public is controlled. They told us for 30 years, it ain't nothing to worry about, it's Diddy. So we didn't worry about it.
Right.
And then when the Ciroc people get mad and start making phone calls, which is the same thing they did, let's keep it on either side of race. That's the same thing they did to Donald Trump. When Donald Trump had done all that stuff he'd been doing all his life. Donald Trump has been famous since I can remember.
Yeah.
And he been doing the same shady deals he always been doing. But suddenly, when he was running for president the second time, they took that man to court for everything he had ever done in his whole life.
Hmm.
And it was obvious it was the powers that be that's doing it. But why do we think it's legitimate when it's black folks?
Right.
It's the same thing. So my problem is, if you weren't ever a Diddy fan, cool. If you heard about it back in the day and that turned you off from Diddy, cool. If you can separate somebody's job from who they are and you function like that, cool. I like his music. I just don't like the type of person he is. But I do like his
Correct.
music. Okay.
Correct.
I'm saying just stay that person.
Right.
Don't be bumping Notorious B.I.G. and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden now you an activist. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's and I'm that just bothers me of how easily the American
Hmm.
public is just controlled, you know.
That's
But
why I said before I talked about this, I wanted to wait for them to go to trial so I could hear the evidence. I didn't want to go, oh, I don't like him now because they said he did this, and I don't hear no evidence. You
but
know,
by
but I still,
what if all evidence is true? I don't
hmm
doubt that. I don't doubt that he did all the stuff that they say he did. I don't.
hmm
I think
hmm
he is. I now this is just my feeling. I have
right,
nothing to base this on. If I
hmm
had to guess,
hmm
I think he has become the worst of his industry.
Yeah.
I believe that just about everything they say he did do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he fell for the same things he was doing. I think what he was doing to people, people did to
People did
him.
to him.
And he
I
was
agree.
thinking that's just how it is.
Right.
And I do
Good.
think you can convince yourself I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
It's no different. Remember Scarface. I don't know if you watch Scarface with
Oh
Al
yeah.
Pacino.
All the
Well,
time. All the time.
well, you know, he was he was cool getting big until he thought he got as big as Sosa.
Right.
He told him, I'll go to war with you. And he told him in the
Hmm.
beginning, I'm gonna tell you,
Mm.
don't cross me. Don't
Right.
ever cross me.
He
Well,
said in
with
other words, but you're right.
yes. But as he let him get as big as he could get until
Mm-hmm.
he thought he was as big as him.
Right.
That's what happened with Diddy.
Yeah.
That should be because think about it. Anybody whose career get messed up, celebrities are employees, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They work for the movie company. They work for somebody's paying them. We don't get to
Right.
see the people. We don't know what the owner of Paramount or MGM or we don't know what them people look like. They're
Right.
paying these people. They don't care if these are employees. You think Ronald McDonald care if the person on fries get fired? No. They the people on fries, bro.
Right.
Ronald McDonald don't even care about the manager. Dude, you just a manager. We talking about owners. We talking about district. Dude, you just work in the hood.
Right.
And that's what they did. They was like, bro, you think you're rich? We will freeze all of your money. We gonna make it. How many times do you hear a RICO case that is not dealing with organized crime? Every time you hear RICO, RICO was made for the mafia.
That's the last time I heard of it because what was so funny was I just watched the documentary on John Gotti.
Mhm.
I just watched it,
Mhm.
and they was talking about it because they tried to try his son too,
Mhm. They did.
but they couldn't convict his son.
Yeah. No, they got him. He just got out. They didn't get him as long as they thought they was gonna get him. But
Oh,
they got
okay,
him.
okay,
Yeah, they got him.
okay,
But
okay.
that's the thing that is just killing me about this case. How much time we got? Well, I'm just want to make sure that we ain't about to run out of time. Oh shoot, we got a minute and 25 seconds. Uh,
Okay.
that's what's getting me about this particular case, though, man. It's just how the American people. It's like somebody is conducting the music, and they just people are just dancing. They dancing when they tell
Right,
them to dance.
right.
But I give you the last minute, man. Tell me, what should we be looking forward to? What is going to happen?
I think we should just sit back and watch. Just sit back and see what evidence, see what's coming out. Because the way it started, man, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna
I
be
don't
crazy.
I don't think it's going to be bigger than OJ, because the racial dynamic was too deep in it. Um,
Yeah. Because
it's
a
not
lot
going to
of
call
people, because a lot of people he did affect was black, so it ain't like he killed a white woman.
right,
You're
right.
right.
But
You're right.
I think a lot of people, it's going to make a lot of money. It's going to draw a lot of interest. But I'm gonna tell you what, cuz I want you to keep coming back and keep me updated on it,
I got you.
my man.
I
All
got
right.
you. So you know I'm gonna be on it every day. Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
man.
All right, cuz much love, everybody.
All right.